Hello and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. And today, look at this amazing top. David's sister got me this for Christmas. It's shelves with books on. My bra strap's gone. But isn't it lovely? And it's got like a little black velvet bow on it and a nice like Peter Pan collar. I love a Peter Pan collar and I feel like you don't often see them in shops anymore. So I was delighted to receive this and I thought, well, I must wear it in some videos. I simply must. Today I'm going to be talking about the books that I'm planning on reading in January, my January TBR. So I will talk more about this in my my bookish resolutions and my plans for the channel in 2018. But one thing that I definitely want to do is I would like to read more new releases, or potentially, as I'm in the very privileged and thank you very much position of getting sent some books before they're actually released. And when that happens to me, I always feel so excited about them, and then I sort of put them on a shelf and forget about them, and then I've watched loads of reviews and decided whether or not I want to read them anyway. So I'm going to try this year to try and read a few books ahead of release dates, just so I can give people an idea of what that book's going to be like. And I've got a few in here, and also new releases as well. That's something else I want to read about. But as I said, that's not for now. I'll talk about that in me reading resolutions video. This is just to purely show what I'm going to be reading in the month of January. So I'll start with my two book club books. My first book club, which is my book club at work, we were going to be reading, oh my god, I've completely forgotten who it's by, Black Eyed Susans. I'll put a picture of it in here, and that will also have the author on it. These bra straps are falling down, something chronic. Black Eyed Susans, which is a I think it's a crime thriller sort of book. It's got something to do with Black Eyed Susans are flowers, and these flowers start appearing on one of the victims who's got, God, I'm making this sound bloody terrible. Someone who got away from him before, or someone's sister or something. Oh, I don't bloody know. It's a crime thriller and there's Black Eyed Susan flowers involved. I've got a feeling Simon read it and didn't really enjoy it very much. I've got to have that read by a week tomorrow, so I need to pick that up. I don't know if that's waiting for me at the library. If it is, I shall go and pick it up and start it. My other book club, my online book club that I run on Facebook with some friends, we are reading, I'm very excited about this, The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arndon. This is a beautiful front cover, really, really gorgeous. And I read the first page of this to David when I first picked it up from David's parents' house. I got it delivered there, and we were both like mesmerised by how beautiful it sounds. And it's set in Russia. It says here, in a village at the edge of the wilderness of northern Russia, where the winds blow cold and the snow falls many months of the year, an elderly servant tells stories of sorcery, folklore, and the Winter King to the children of the family, tales of old magic frowned upon by the church. But for the young, wild Vazia, these are far more than just stories. She alone can see the house spirits that guide her home and sense the growing forces of dark magic in the woods. So I'm going to be reading that for book club, my online book club. I feel like the cover is just, look, it's just like a piece of art. Look at that little birdie guy. This paper, this up here, little flowers, which is represented on the back as well. It is just gorgeous. This was out last year. Very fortunately, bear with me. God, that took longer than I thought. I've also been sent the second in the series, called The Girl in the Tower, again by Catherine Arndon. So if I love that, I might go straight onto this, which is something I haven't done in such a long time, where I've read a book in a series and then gone straight onto the next book. I feel like the last time I did that was actually the first time I read The Hunger Games. I've got a feeling that's when the last time it was. So those are, this one will definitely be being read, and also my book club's at the end of the month, so this might go into February. But if I love it, I'm going to go straight on with that, and that is due out on the 25th of January. So might be ticking one of my boxes of reading a few new releases as well. So those are the two books that I'm reading for my book clubs. The next thing I've got is a little book that I got for my sister got me for Christmas, and that is the little for my birthday, I think, The Little Book of Veganism. I'm currently reading Veganuary. I am taking part in Veganuary, where I'm being a vegan for January and hoping to carry through what I can out of it for the rest of my life. And I feel like it's really helpful to, whilst getting into the early stages of veganism, to remind myself why I'm doing that. And Veganuary book is very helpful, but once I finish that, I'd quite like to read this as well. So that's only a little tiny guy, and some of the things are literally as she says it, she can't find it, like pictures or just sayings and things like that to remind you why it's the right thing to do. And then, yeah, the rest are all sort of like new releases. Another thing I'm doing, this is a big spoiler for me reading resolutions video. I've decided that I'm going to read 100 books this year, just because I feel like when I set it at 150 in 2017, last year, imagine, God, I avoided reading big books, and I've got some big books sitting on my reading list that I would really like to get to. So, oh, my camera's flashing battery. Am I going to make it? We'll power through. So yeah, I'd like to get to some of these big books, but the books I'm about to talk about now are not big books. This is Eat Up by Ruby Tandoh. Ruby Tandoh is a previous contestant on the Great British Bake Off, which is a baking show that happens here in the UK. She's also very politically minded and quite active on Twitter, and she put forward the idea that she wanted to do a book about how food can nourish your body and what you can do to look after your body with food. Serpent's Tail picked it up, and they have, this is the proof of it. I don't know what it's going to look like eventually, because it is a cookbook, although there is a lot in here about people's relationships with food, and sort of it's got recipes in here, and the saying "you are what you eat" with a question mark on it, and I feel like this is going to be really interesting, and I love books to do with food. I'm really into my food, so I feel like this will be great, and this is out in February 2018. The next one is also out in February 2018, the 8th of February, and that is The Toymakers by Robert Dinsdale. I picked this up at the Penguin Christmas party. Really like this proof. Look, it's got like a little flappy door there, and then underneath is there. This is again set in winter. I've really gone for like some wintry stories. Let me see what it says here. It says it's 1917, and while war wages across Europe, in the heart of London, there is a place of hope and enchantment. The Emporium sells toys that capture the imagination of children and adults alike. Patchwork dogs that seem alive, toy boxes that are bigger on the inside, soldiers that can fight battles on their own. Into this family business comes young Kathy Ray, running away from a shameful past. The Emporium takes her in, makes her one of his own, but Kathy is about to discover that the Emporium has secrets of his own. So yeah, I think actually David picked this up, and then I've sort of taken it. Also, look at that cute little soldier guy on the side. So excited about that. This one is already out. This is another Serpent's Tail book. This is The Haunting of Henry Twist by Rebecca F. John. This has recently been shortlisted for the Costa book of the, I believe, was it debut novel? It's been shortlisted for one of the Costa prizes, and Serpent's Tail sent it to me kindly last summer as one of the books that they were pleased about that they'd published. They were pleased about that they'd published in the summer, and I'm quite keen to read sort of prize winners and things like that, just to keep relevant. I feel like a lot of my previous reading has been like books that I've like classics and things like that, although they are also books that I'll be reading this year, but I wanted to get up to date with new releases and prize winners and things like that. So this is shortlisted, so excited about that. This is one that was sent to me by Pam Macmillan. This is The Great Alone by Kristin Hannah. Now, I read The Nightingale by Kristin Hannah for book club. I don't know when this is out. Oh, 8th of February, for book club at work, thinking it was going to be a bit shit, and I ended up bloody loving it. So the Nightingale, not that that's what this is, it was very, look, there's a little thing there to say that she wrote The Nightingale. That was very like female-centric characters in World War I, I believe, and like sort of dealing with the people that were left behind and what they had to make of their lives. And this also looks as though it is to do with, it's got women at the forefront of this. This is set in Alaska in 1975, so much more modern than her last novel. Untamed, unpredictable, a story of a family in crisis struggling to survive at the edge of the world. It is also a story of young and enduring love, and it follows Cora Albright and her husband Ernst. So very excited about that, and as I said, looking forward to reading some big books this year. I like big books and I cannot lie. This is another one. This is the one that Vintage is leading with this year. This is Vintage lead debut for 2018. This is also out on the 8th of February. Loads of books out on the 8th of February. This is The Mermaid and Mrs Hancock by Imogen Hermes Gower. I mean, look at this for a proof. It is absolutely beautiful. It's so gorgeous. I can't wait to get into it. Also, it's set like a proper like a Dickensian novel or something. And this it says here, so a very short little tagline. 1785, Jonah Hancock has sold his ship for a mermaid. His ownership of the novelty opens the doors to high society and brings Jonah into the thrilling orbit of Angelica Neal, the most glorious courtesan in London. The two of them begin a dangerous and delightful adventure that will change the course of their lives forever. So yeah, excited about this. The volunteer brought this into me at work. She couldn't get on with it, but I've heard wonderful things about it on BookTube. My Absolute Darling by Gabriel Talent. This is, I've seen this appear on quite a few people's best books of 2018 and people talking about it and how wonderful it is. So I'm quite looking forward to it. It follows a 14-year-old girl called Turtle, her name is. Already I'm enjoying that name. And it says here that she knows the use of every gun on her wall, that chaos is coming and only the strong will survive, that her daddy loves her more than anything else in the world and he'll do whatever he takes to keep her with him. So very creepy. And then the last one is just a picture book that I've been very much looking forward to reading. That is The Worm and the Bird by Coralie Bickford Smith. I've read, this appeared in my beautiful books that I think would be good gifts, a Christmas gift guide that I did. And while I was looking at it, I was like, bloody hell, I need to read that soon. And I just didn't get a chance. So this is something I'm going to sort of... And my battery died. So... thanks. Luckily, it literally finished on the video, on the book that was last in my TBR. So that was that. And this is in the evening. Look, I've got my coat on and everything. This is a lovely coat. It's like a coat jacket sort of thing. So yeah, let me know what books you're planning on reading in January, if you have read any of the books that I have planned to read in January. And I'll see you all again soon for another BookTube video. Bye!